So over the past couple of days, Oscar Piastri has been the subject of all the chaos in the F1 driver market. He seems to be on his way to Mclaren if the latest rumours are correct, replacing Daniel Ricciardo. But in this video, I'm going to take a look at how good is the Australian actually, and is he the right man for McLaren? Let's take a look. So Oscar Piastri is currently the 2021 Formula 2 champion, and he drove a phenomenal season last year, notching up many race wins, pole positions, and dominated the series when he got going in his rookie season. On screen now is a graphic showing his performance in Formula 2. He notched up 4 out of 8 feature race wins, 5 out of 8 pole positions, which all came in a row. He had an average qualifying gap to teammate Robert Schwartzman of 0.57%, which is nearly 0.6 of a second. So a very impressive campaign from Piastri. When we look at this in a bit more detail, Piastri actually has the highest feature race win percentage in Formula 2's history. So that is since 2017, when GP2 was renamed and rebranded to Formula 2. So here he's edging out Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Nick de Vries and Mick Schumacher. And that's a very impressive resume off the bat from Oscar Piastri. And when people talk about future talents in the sport, I think Piastri, based off his junior career, belongs in the conversation with the likes of Lando, George, Charles, who all came up the ranks in the same way Piastri did. So he's a mega talent, and when people give Piastri his praise, he fully deserves it. We can also see a comparison of Oscar and Mick Schumacher, who shared the same teammate in the same team in consecutive seasons in Formula 2. Oscar was a rookie in 2021, whereas Mick Schumacher, when he won his championship in 2020, was in his second season. Oscar took 63% of the possible pole positions in 2021, whereas Mick, in the same team, with the same race engineer and side of the garage, against the same teammate, took none. So there's quite clearly, when comparing the previous two champions, there's a big difference in qualifying performance. This can be seen in the average gap to Robert Schwartzman, where Mick was roughly a tenth quicker than the Russian, whereas Piastri was nearly 0.6 quicker. So Piastri's qualifying speed is right up there with some of the best talents out there, so that's not in doubt. When comparing the feature races, again, as touched on previously, Piastri has the highest feature race win percentage in F2 history with 50%, and Mick has a 17% feature race win percentage. And when we compare the race head-to-head with Schwartzman, Piastri outraced Schwartzman 100% of the time, whereas Schumacher outraced him 54% of the time. So if we look at this objectively, Mick isn't a bad driver by any means, but I guess when there's a common benchmark, we can see where Piastri stands in the pecking order, if you like. And he's quite clearly a top-tier talent. Again, he won the F2 championship as a rookie, which I feel goes under the radar quite often. We talk about many drivers having amazing junior careers, but when you look at things in more detail, it becomes a bit more clear that when you win a championship as a rookie, those drivers tend to progress further and quicker and have much higher ceilings than those who didn't. And Oscar won his F2 championship as a rookie, and he belongs in a very special group of champions seen on screen right now. So the first was Nico Rosberg, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and Oscar Piastri. All of Oscar's predecessors have had very good F1 careers and have had varying levels of success. Nico Hülkenberg, who's probably the least successful of all of these guys, still had a prolonged career, 10 years in the sport, and racked up many points finishes, was a solid driver in the midfield. Obviously, Hamilton and Rosberg are world champions. Charles Leclerc is fighting for a world championship. And George Russell has been very promising at Mercedes so far. So if Oscar continues the trend of rookie champions coming into F1 and delivering sensational and solid performances, there's no reason to suggest why he couldn't be as good as someone like Norris at McLaren and be a suitable replacement for Danny Ric. Of course, moving on to Danny Ric, Oscar's move to McLaren is not good for Daniel Ricciardo. He had a contract for 2023, but it seems McLaren are finding a way to pay him off and leave his contract early so Oscar can take his seat. It is sad for me as a supporter of McLaren and having a soft spot for Ricciardo. I think he's a great driver. It hasn't quite worked out for him in Papaya. The car's never really been a car he can push to the very limit using his own inputs. And unfortunately, McLaren have had enough, it seems, and have decided to put the youngster Oscar Piastri instead of him. Why did it not work for Danny Ric at McLaren? Despite his highs, such as the win in Monza, it's sort of overshadowed kind of by his prolonged struggles getting used to the car, changing his driving style to suit the McLaren way of driving. And he hasn't quite got on top of it ever. And it seems he'll never be given a chance to rectify it, which is a shame. But F1's a ruthless business, and Danny Ric's now on the worst end of that for the first time really in his career. The McLaren is a car that tends to understeer excessively on entry and mid-corner, and Danny Ric's style, he sort of mastered the high rake style of driving where there's minimal weight transfer. He rolls the car a lot more into corners, braking earlier and lighter and having very high minimum speeds. Something of a trademark when you look at his telemetry traces and speed traces. He's been unable to replicate that at McLaren. But the good news for Danny Ric is that the Alpine seat is free. Otmar Safnauer has said recently that it shouldn't be an issue to get Danny Ric back in that seat if he's available and interested. So if he is interested, I can see that as a viable option for Ricciardo, and hopefully he can recapture some of the form that made him so devastatingly quick in 2020. Speaking of the McLaren being difficult to drive, perhaps Piastri may have the same difficulties as Ricciardo, and this move turns out to be an absolute blunder from all parties. On the flip side, Piastri's proven record of jumping into new categories as a rookie, completely new cars, this goes back to his pre-Formula 3 days where he was in Formula Regional and Formula Renault Europe, where they were new regulations when he jumped in, and he won the championship as a rookie in those seasons. He jumped into Formula 3, a series he'd never driven before, and still won as a rookie and completely new car. Formula 2, he jumped into the F2 car, which is completely different again, and won as a rookie. So, if this trend continues, I don't think Piastri will have any issue jumping into a McLaren and being at a reasonably competitive level. Watch this space, I guess, to see how things develop, how things change. But I have confidence that Oscar Piastri will be a very good signing for McLaren. So that's it for today's video on Piastri. Just a little bit of reaction and roundup to all the rumours and chaos in the F1 driver market. Let me know what you think of Piastri's decision to reject Alpine on social media. Has he made the right call? Have Alpine fumbled both Fernando Alonso and Oscar Piastri within a couple of days? Have they made a mistake? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. And until the next video, peace.